Dumelang, my name is Griffiths. I am your Grootman in running. In today's video, I'm talking about the runner's knee. A runner's knee is the softening or damage of the cartilage behind your kneecap. Your kneecap is the hard round bone at the front of your knee. When you have a runner's knee, you'll start to feel a dull or a tingling sensation behind your kneecap. Because of that irritation, you'll be feeling pain every time you try to run. If you sit for a very long time with your knee bent, when you're performing squats, and when you are kneeling. The pain is caused by the irritation of the soft tissue that is lining your knee. If you have a runner's knee, you may be doing one of these three things that are contributing to you having that knee problem. The first one is overuse. Overuse means that you run too much while you are not fit for it. For example, you have been running only 10 kilometers and all of a sudden you register for a marathon. When you get there, you'll be doing too much and what your body is not used to doing. The second contributor is having weak thigh muscles. You may be one of the unlucky people whose bodies did not develop to such an extent that they have very strong thigh muscles. And with weak thigh muscles, it makes you very vulnerable to getting a runner's knee. So you need to know if you are and take corrective steps. The third reason is inadequate stretching. Many of us runners struggle with stretching, either with pre-run stretching or post-run stretching. So if you have a runner's knee, chances are you don't stretch at all. So even if you don't do pre-run stretching, try doing a warm-up. You don't go too hard when you're starting. You take it easy. As soon as your muscles have warmed up enough, then you can start pushing yourself. And after running, make sure that you do stretches. I have a video that gives you a guide on how to do stretching after running. If you already have a runner's knee, it's not late for you. There is a treatment that you can do at home to get rid of your runner's knee. You can treat your knee using the RICE method. RICE is an acronym that stands for rest, ice, compress, and elevate. The R stands for rest. Many runners struggle with this. I don't know why as soon as we start running, we don't know when to stop. I think it's the addiction that comes with it because runners, we get so addicted to running. But you need to have rest as part of your training. Incorporate it as part of your program. The I in RICE stands for ice. This means that you need to apply ice to your knee for 30 minutes, maybe 3 to 4 times in a day. What icing does is it reduces heat on the knee, it reduces swelling, and it lowers your pain as well. The C stands for compression. Compression means that you can take a bandage and wrap around your knee. If not, you can also buy a knee guard that you'll see on this picture. And you need to make sure that your bandaging or your knee guard is not too tight. So that C stands for compression. E in RICE stands for elevate. So you must always elevate your knee at most times when you're sitting in order to reduce swelling. After treating your runner's knee, the worst thing that can happen to you is having it return. So do these 4 things in order to prevent runner's knee from happening to you again. The first thing is you need to stay in shape. You don't need to be the most fittest person in the world, but just keep active. Don't always start at 0 when you want to exercise. Make exercising your lifestyle so that you don't have to start at 0. For example, you can keep at 50 kilometers a week or 40 kilometers a week so that whenever you want to up that and you want to train for a marathon, then you can add on to already what you're doing. Then you'll be able to avoid runner's knee. The second thing is stretching. I know most of us as runners, we struggle with stretching. So I have a video that you can use as reference to guide you when you stretch at home. So to avoid runner's knee, stretching. stretching, 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 and stretching. If you don't stretch, you'll treat it, it'll come back again, and then you'll have to go through the pain, and then treat it again, and then you'll be stuck in a vicious cycle of you having a runner's knee. So to save yourself from that, stretch. The third thing is gradually increasing your training. Most of us runners, we find ourselves in a position where we didn't plan to run a marathon, and you are told that next month on the 25th, there's a marathon at this place, and you're like, flip, I'm not fit. So you get into a trap where you try to build up and be fit and be ready for that marathon. What that does to you is you pile up a lot of mileage, doing too much too soon, and that is a recipe for disaster. So to avoid all that, just build gradually. If you get to know about a marathon that you want to run but it's too late, plan for a marathon that is a bit later so that you can build up properly and get fit and run that marathon successfully. The fourth thing you need to do to avoid runner's knee, get proper running shoes. Proper running shoes does not need to be the most expensive running shoes ever. I'll drop you a link of a video that I did that covers the things you need to know to buy proper running shoes. Proper running shoes are not expensive shoes, but they are shoes that are perfect for your running, perfect for the shape of your feet, and perfect for the way that you hit the ground when you're running. So get yourself perfect running shoes for your body, and you will never have to deal with your runner's knee again. As a recap, what to do to prevent your runner's knee is the following. Stay in shape, stretch, gradually increase your mileage or training, and get the right shoe for you. If not, you're going to find yourself in that vicious cycle with your runner's knee, and we don't want that. So I am your Grootman in running. Listen to me.